Yeah, this sales update is absolutely crazy, and I have barely even seen anybody talk about it. There was a Reddit thread that was actually ended up being deleted that I've taken quite a bit of my info from. There's also an Inven article and a Korean YouTube video that has a ton of information about all of this, and I will link all of that down below. T1 has faced quite a bit of backlash recently due to the benching of Gumayusi and a confusing and rather strange statement about the whole situation where Joe Marsh himself claims that he decided Gumayusi will play, while it seems like the coaches really want Smash. And the fans have absolutely not been happy about this, as Gumayusi has proved himself again and again and again, and they feel like he is being shafted for no real reason. However, amidst all of this turmoil, we find ourselves with a new update on why Zeus decided not to sign with T1. And let me tell you, this article paints a completely different picture from what T1 told us before. This article essentially states that it was T1 that was unwilling to compromise and give Zeus a good salary in the beginning, and then they were unwilling to actually negotiate with him properly and give him what he wanted. He really wanted to stay with T1, but in the end, Hanwha Life's offer was simply that much better. So one of the first things that this article states is that Zeus's agency does not take a commission fee. This is in response to Joe Marsh, and I quote, saying they had a past case where they prioritized monetary interests over considering the player's best interests. Therefore, the agency is arguing that because we do not get a commission fee, we have no reason to want to get the highest salary for Zeus, and we just want what's best for the player. The agency has a monetization model of making money off of the player's sponsorships and their marketing value, which ironically probably would have been higher in T1 anyways. And so let's talk about why Zeus decided to go for a market evaluation, because he felt he was not getting a fair offer from T1, and they claimed it was due to esports instability and low economy. And the agency has shared all of the logs of these chats between them and T1 and how the whole negotiation phase went. Now keep in mind, this is only one side of the story. We don't know if this is 100% true, but T1 has yet to respond or deny it, so take that as you will. The agency claimed that at the moment this issue started, they requested the Esports Fair Committee to correct the spread of false information. And there has been no response even until now, so they came to this YouTube channel that I'll link down below at last to show all this information. The agency sent all the chat history between them and T1 to this channel, along with the timelines, which only could be shared within the video/article due to the confidentiality clause. The channel then requested T1 for an interview to verify all the things. However, after 3 weeks, they have not had any reply. With this background info, here is the timeline of events. This all started 2024, November 7th. 12 days before the end of the contract. Becker Drung, T1's manager, had a meeting with Zeus and they both agreed that they wanted to resign. That left. 5 days later, the first actual negotiation began and Zeus was offered a disrespectful and unacceptable level of salary. T1's excuse was that the esports industry had poor financial structure, so the agency replied that they will wait for market evaluation to see whether other teams are having the same problem. Now this makes sense. If you want to see if you're getting lowballed or not, you look to see what other teams are willing to offer you. So Zeus wanted to see if T1's offer was actually fair, or if he could get much more money elsewhere, even if he didn't actually want to go to that team, but he could use that as negotiating power to get a better offer from T1. 3 days later, November 15th, the second negotiation happened, but they did still not reach an agreement. 1 day later, the third negotiation, T1 offered a slight increase in salary compared to the first offer. It was nothing big enough to change the mind of Zeus or the agency. 2 days later, another slight increase, another disagreement. 1 day later, November 19th, the contract of Zeus has ended. So Zeus can start fielding offers from all teams all over the world, and he did. He got a lot of offers from foreign teams with huge offers, but Zeus wanted to stay within the LCK, so he declined. 2 hours and 44 minutes later, Zeus' agency makes the first offer to T1 after the market evaluation. An hour and 40 minutes after that, T1 makes the final offer to the agency. And due to the fact that the agency did not respond, at 1:48, Becker told the agency that T1 was running out of patience, and the agency considered this as a sign that T1 was not willing to negotiate any further and rejected the final offer. 2 minutes later, T1, getting kind of panicky, requested to directly call with Zeus, and the agency agrees. And the Zeus told T1 that if there isn't a huge difference in the salary, he wants to sign with T1. 24 minutes later, at 2:14, T1 requested a face-to-face meeting with Zeus and departed from the T1 building in Gangnam to Songdo, Incheon. However, the agency told T1 that the contract must be complete before 3 o'clock due to the deadline with Hanwha Life, and it usually takes about 1.5 hours from T1 building to Songdo due to traffic. Therefore, the agency told T1 that if they have a better offer, just offer them via the phone. 30 minutes later, the agency reminds T1 for the last time that they're willing to take offers via the phone. And then at 3 o'clock, the deadline of the Hanwha Life contract is here. However, the agency pushed back the deadline a little bit for the actual final offer from T1. 10 minutes later, T1 makes the final offer. The agency makes the final offer back to T1. You notice how we're always on the final offer here? This is, peak negotiation with the same salary that T1 has offered, but a different contract duration. And 10 minutes later, T1 rejects the change in contract duration and offers with a different condition. The agency rejected the final offer, and Zeus notices T1 that he will be signing with Hanwha Life through his agency. Now, when it comes to contract duration, probably if I were to make an educated guess here, it's going to be that maybe Zeus wanted a 2-year contract or a 3-year contract, while T1 only wanted to give a 1-year contract or a 2-year contract. This is because in Korea and LCK, it's very common that the player plays through their whole contract. Unlike in EU or NA, where often players are cut before their contract is done, a contract essentially ensures you the spot in a lot of cases, except for our boy Guba UC. Pretty unlucky, huh? But let's keep going. And thus, 10 minutes later, Zeus has signed the contract with Hanwha Life. And at 20 minutes later, T1 arrives to Songdo Incheon and meets with Zeus, and the contract wasn't complete, so they just said their farewells. And on that night, T1 announces their contract with Doran. And it is done. Zeus to Hanwha Life and Doran to T1. So it's important to know that all of this evidence was provided by the agency of Zeus. So of course, it's not an unbiased source. But if they released this information and it ended up being tampering or lies, it would lead to a whole lot of legal trouble for them. So I have a difficulty to believe that they would straight up lie with any of this. And this puts T1 in quite a tricky position, because the statements that T1 have made prior to this point have essentially claimed the polar opposite of what we've seen here. And I also want to give my sympathy to Zeus and his family for having to go through this whole situation. The Korean video talks about how his family, his agency, has all gone through a lot of death threats due to this whole situation, and I can't even imagine it. All you want to do is, play video games, and you're really damn good at it, and it leads to all of this drama and dread. It's really sad, and I wish the best for them. And I'm curious to see what T1 responds. I'm also curious to see what you guys think. I'm definitely leaning more to be on the side of Zeus with this. I think this seems pretty conclusive to me. I'm very curious to see what T1 responds, if they have anything. But it's weird to me that if they had a good response, that they haven't responded in 3 weeks. But yeah, I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. Maybe you guys have different opinions to mine. All opinions are welcome. And thank you guys so much for watching the video. We're trying to kind of renew the channel, and I'm having so much fun making these videos. It's been great. Check out the courses if you haven't already. Download Upper GX if you want to support me. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next one. Maybe a little Smash Gumayusi video. Who knows? Who knows?
My hoe, they come in doubles. They know that I'm finna pop like bubble. Finna hit 'em all base, no trouble. I drive it too fast, might get in trouble.